Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good morning, whatever state, whatever city, whatever country that you are listening to me from. My name is Shofu, and now you're welcome to another wonderful episode of the Pest Experience Show. You're right. So, the Pest Experience Show cut across different state, across different city, across different country. And this is a platform where we talk about every single thing that has to do with pest and pest control. And we don't just talk about pest control itself. We talk about the business aspect of pest control. We talk about frequently asked questions. We talk about pest control strategies, tips, and techniques that professionals need to put into play. And this is the Pest Experience Show. Now, I need to also make this official notice before we get started. I'm sure that most people who have been following the Pest Experience Show over time have noticed that there is a little change, especially moves in our graphics, in our designs. Now, you're seeing Pest Insight is no longer Insight Radio that is anchoring the Pest Experience Show. Yes. So we are actually right now bringing Pest Experience Show to be under Pest Insight. So basically, Pest Insight is going to be the host of the Pest Experience Show moving forward. Right. So that's the official announcement. Right. So thank you very much, everyone, for being part of the Pest Experience Show over the years. It's been wonderful time. Um, and definitely most of the videos, interviews are right on Pest Insight initiative on YouTube channel. So if you have been looking out for the platform where you would watch most of our videos 3 years ago, 2 years ago, just visit Pest Insight initiative. Right. So Pest Experience Show last week was an amazing one. I had an amazing guest from the United States of America, Mr. Edward Overt, where he talked about mosquito control, integrated vector management strategies, surveillance, and all. But tonight is going to be another wonderful night, a different ball game entirely, a different perspective to the pest management industry and also to professionals, most especially service businesses. Every business is out there that, you own a business. You're probably not in the pest control aspect, but you own a business. This is the show you really don't want to miss. Every single business owner needs to actually hear from this particular amazing guest that I have tonight. Right? Today's show, we'll be talking about a different aspect and the critical aspect in business, which is human resources, which is basically the people, the workforce that you have, right? Also building systems, right? The topic is building systems every SME. Business systems every SME and startup must have is critical. You must have all these systems if you really want to scale in your business, right? I'm sure people will have questions. Just drop them in the comment section, maybe before or after this particular show. Drop your questions, and definitely I would answer them, or my guest would also be available to answer them in the comment section. So you really don't want to miss out from any of these things. I usually say before I get started on the show that you should always have a jotter for the Pest Experience Show. Have a jotter, that you jot things down, you note things down, because the show is not just another webinar. It's basically another show where you learn, unlearn, and also relearn. Right? My guest today is no other person than Miss Temitope Tijani. Um, She's an amazing HR consultant. Let me read her biography so you get a glimpse of who exactly my guest is tonight. Temitope Tijani is a dynamic HR professional, startup talent consultant, and career growth advocate with a passion for transforming people and businesses. She's the founder of Hirexpress International Limited, a talent and HR solutions company that helps SMEs and growing businesses across industries such as finance, logistics, real estate, tech, health, environmental, etc. Build structure, create efficient processes, retain top talent, and scale sustainably. She's also a mentor to many globally spanning African and non-African countries with a proven track record in recruitment, team structuring, HR operations, and career coaching. Timmy has worked with both startups and established businesses to optimize their people strategy. He's also committed to empowering job seekers and young professionals across globe, helping them position themselves for global opportunities to ensure excellence output. She has gained license certification in HR CIPM and taken other professional courses in HR, such as analytics, which has strategically helped her to use data for scaling organizations. My question is going to be on that part. Scaling organizations is also on the move on pursuing an MBA and other professional courses to gain CBAP certification. Beyond her HR practices, she's the convener of the Career Pathfinder Launchpad, a career transforming initiative designed for students, fresh graduates, COP members, and transitioning professionals, providing mentorship, job access, and clarity across industries. Also, she's the pioneer of Inside Work Stories, a safe space for employees to share their workspace experience and helping organizations create better work culture. Temi work is anchored on our belief in excellence, growth, the power of the people, and upholding Christ's values. Whether she's structuring a startup team, leading the HR operations in established organizations, or guiding young graduates, our goal remains the same: to unlock potential and create systems that drive sustainable impact. Welcome, Mrs. Temitope and Miss Temitope Tijani on the show. I'm missing it up. I've not gotten the updates. Oh my God, it's good to have you on the Pest Experience Show tonight. Your mic is muted.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Babalola. So I hope you just get the Miss and Mrs. correctly. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for joining on the Pest Experience Show. I'm sure we have business owners who are like on this show tonight, and the major focus of everybody is basically gaining systems. A lot of us hear the word systems, but we don't even know the meaning. What exactly is business systems?
Okay, so basically for business owners and entrepreneurs, so systems even works mostly even in our daily lives. So systems is just like what you put in place that can work in your absence. So, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, if you have necessary systems in place or processes in place, you know you can go on your honeymoon, holidays, leave your business for hours without having to wonder if your business is actually going bad. So that is literally what the systems means for business owners and entrepreneurs. So even in your daily life, just like you live your normal life, having a system is something that is a structured process you follow, and it ensures to actually keep you intact of achieving your goals basically.
Great. So every business owner needs to systemize their organization, which is creating that structure. And there are businesses that would basically have certain challenges. They would say that there is no system in that particular aspect. I mean, we've worked together for my own brand, basically helping us build up that structure, also helping to in terms of hiring. Now, when we talk about hiring, there are different aspects of hiring. There are different procedures to take, and there are different strategies in hiring these people. So I would want you to let's delve into first thing first, the systems for every businesses. What are the critical things that businesses needs to have to be able to know that yes, we actually have a business system?
Okay, so for the sake of this call, but normally for every business, there are four major essential systems you are required to have. You have the number one, that's the people system. This is more in concern about your human resources because the people help to make your business work. Then we have the aspect of the financial systems. So this financial systems is involved in what concerns your revenue, your expenses, everything, and you know that's the money aspect is what keeps your business going. We have the other systems in terms of marketing and sales. So even when you have the money, you have the human resource. Marketing and sales is the strategic part that help put your service or your product to the world and also helps the continuity of your business. While we also have the aspect of customer relationship. So this customer relationship aspect is also another system that helps your business to thrive, because if you cannot keep loop of your customers after getting your necessary sales from different customers, you are definitely going to lose. So these are four basic systems a business must have. But for the sake of this call, while we are being focused on the human resource aspect, we have systems in the human resource aspect that a business is expected to have. We have the aspect of the operational systems. So these operational systems is considered in terms of the flow of your business, how your business operates basically. For every role, for every activity, there is a process to follow. So if you would want that, exactly, if you go to any Chicken Republic store, you taste their chicken tastes the same thing. It's not like it's one particular person that goes around their different outlets to make this chicken. No, they actually have a process that has been written down. Oh, you have to put 1.5 kilogram of this, you have to put 1.5 kilogram of sauce and all the like. So that is actually a process. So we know that with that process in place, every outlet of Chicken Republic will taste the same thing. That is what operational systems means. That you have to put down processes to follow to actually achieve a particular task, and always ensure it is documented, because entrepreneurs, business owners have this mistakes of I have told them without having to document it. And we need to understand that
Hmm.
talents have different aspects of their lives. Your business is just a part of their world. So they have every different aspect that is part of their. So you need to ensure that it is documented. And the other system we have is in the aspect of people. So basically, your people system is something that is really required in your organization as a business owner, because you know that when you don't have your roles defined, you don't have responsibilities defined, chaos come in place. You see two or three staff having to do the same thing, but you think they are working because they are busy. So entrepreneurs need to know that your team being busy doesn't mean they are productive. It doesn't mean
Hmm.
your goal is being achieved. So you need to be very careful in that. So if you have any number of team size, even if you have as little as 5 team, ensure that each person's role is actually defined. They know what they are supposed to do. They have the required thing they are supposed to do. And we have the other system which comes in terms of hiring and onboarding. Now, this is a very critical aspect, because no matter the talent you're bringing on board, you need to ensure that these talents can survive with your business. So talent that cannot survive with your business, they cannot adapt. They are not the talents you need. And as growing businesses, you need
Sorry,
business.
sorry. Let me
Okay.
let me let me cut you on that part. You said something now that talents that cannot survive with the business. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so when I mean talent that cannot survive with the business, so I'm going to use a scenario. So if you are a growing startup or you're a growing business owner and you cannot provide all your incentive in the world, your
Hmm.
revenue is not as steady as that. A talent has to like do multiple things. For instance, as a social media manager, because you don't have the funds or the income to actually hire a customer relationship person, now you're requiring the social manager to actually also act as a customer rep. But in a case now you hire talents that I am just there for social media. Now you're giving out responsibility that okay, you need to respond to customers, you need to do this to customers, attend to them. The talent will actually tell you point blank, I'm sorry, I can't do that. That's not in my job
Hmm.
description.
Mm-hmm.
So this talent is not a talent you need as you are growing. This talent are structured for big companies already, because they really do know that they have different people for different roles. So at that point, you don't need that type of talent. You need the one
Hmm.
that can, okay, I can do customer relationship, knowing that they understand your vision, they understand where you currently are, and they are trying to also adapt to it. So at the point maybe when they do something good, their performance is good, and you are rewarding them, a talent will not be requesting that, oh, you're supposed to give me 50% of my salary as an incentive, because they know where
Mm-hmm.
the company is currently. They can literally adapt. Or when you're having to do Christmas bonus and the likes, you cannot afford the bag of rice, keg of oil, and the likes as every other company will afford. You could literally give them what the company can afford at that moment. Those are talents that can adapt. But those that cannot, you see them grumbling and they start becoming toxic to every other staff, which will actually affect all other staff that are adapting. So we need to be very careful in the talents we pick. The ones that can adapt, the ones that can grow as you are growing, those are talents that can actually survive.
Wow. That's mind blowing. I never thought about it in that perspective. Now you talked about toxic stuff. It's just like having four eggs and you have one bad egg. At some point, that one bad egg, if not spotted correctly or on time, will contaminate the other three eggs, then turn the entire team upside down. But the challenge of most businesses is that we don't even understand when to actually spot them, what to do when you spot. I mean, what to do basically is actually to fire. But like, what are the traits of things that you check out for to be able to know that, oh, this staff here is actually a toxic staff for my organization, beyond the fact that the person cannot actually grow with the organization?
Okay, so for a toxic staff, number one is when you see a staff having to grovel, that's just your number one thing. By the time you have to give them tasks and you have to see them grumbling, telling you, oh, can I make this tomorrow? I can't do it. Just start observing the staff because
Hmm.
there's something happening. Is it that they are tired or they are exhausted from the work they're doing or they are overworked? But if you don't quickly notice, they end up becoming toxic to every
Hmm.
other person. So that is just like the first thing. The other one is in the aspect that when they have to, you have to give them tasks to do, and they're telling you, "Oh, I don't have available resources to do it, or I don't have all the resources." You have literally provided the resources to them, but they're having to always give you excuse for
Hmm.
everything they need to do. They are becoming toxic in that nature. And in cases where toxic does not mean the staff have to be rude to you, is when it's already getting to the high limits, you have to see, oh, the staff being rude and the likes. Toxic does not necessarily mean the staff have to be rude to you, right? So from the part that
Hmm.
they start creating excuses, you're already noticing something with them. When they start becoming consistently absent, this week they're absent like twice,
Hmm.
next week they're absent like 2 times. They're having to give you excuses of, oh, I'm having running stomach. I have to visit the hospital. Oh, my dad this, my dad that, or just giving you excuses that you can literally buy in, but it's really causing them to be absent. Just know that yes, this staff, something is happening. Something's already happening with this staff. And in the case where also you see that this staff tends to be coming late to work,
Hmm.
normally they don't come late to work. They have to like come early. They come early to work. So when you see that, oh, they start coming late to work, you start noticing something in that instance, right? So these are
Hmm.
mostly early traits of toxic staff that you tend to see. It's not necessarily when they start being rude to you, when they start fighting other team members, but these basic things are like the traits you observe first from staff that are becoming toxic.
Amazing, amazing. I used to sell something to my admin here at the office that you see everything that rolls around the people you work with the team is basically in the little things. And it's basically just those small things that just like what you said, coming, lateness, um, negligence to duty, negligence to work, and all those kind of things is basically in the little things. And I mean, I think okay, somebody asked the question in the comment section. Dalat Green says, "How do we know if a staff is toxic?" And she just provided answers to that. Are you there? She just
Yes, yes, I
provided
can.
us she just provided answers to that. So I'm sure most businesses here now, if you have similar questions, you have questions, please drop them in the comment section. I'm going to read them out. I'm going to ask these questions. I'm sure people have several challenges when it comes to staff, especially when you are managing about multiple people, over 10, when you start having multiple people, because these people are coming from different parts of life, different level of exposure, different pattern, different traits, different exposures from, some of them carry baggages from their previous work experience and expect you to do magic in clearing off their head. So, I mean, but back to SMEs, there are some mistakes that business owner makes when we want to start building systems. What are the what are those common mistakes that business owners need to avoid in building systems? You initially talked about writing documentation of your entire procedures. I think that's a very good way for every business owners. For those who are just joining, she made mention of a critical aspect, which is basically documenting your entire procedure. But what are those critical mistakes that business owner makes in terms of when they want to start building up that systems?
Okay, so common mistake business owner make is that they feel building system is just for the big or corporate world. You think
Mm,
it's just for the big company. I'm not there yet. How much is my revenue? I don't need all those systems. It's just going to make us too tight. So we need to understand that systems basically actually tend to make your business tight and you need to be careful on the different systems you bring in place. So if you are just starting out as an entrepreneur with 2 to 3 or 4 team members, there are some systems you should not even bring in place because you will just use it to stiffen yourself. So you need to be
Mm.
careful of every systems you bring in stage at every
So
different time of your growth.
I mean, some people are going to be curious like myself in that perspective where someone is running like a two-man job. You just have two technicians or two staffs. And you talked about building some certain system. What are the systems that people cannot build at that time? You're still going to go back
Okay,
to your point, though. I'm still going to answer that question. But I was just curious about that part.
Okay, so you having like a 3 to 5 team members now, and you need to build system. So if you're trying to build the aspect of your hiring, the aspect of your hiring, I would like to start from the hiring first. Now, you know that you're just a team of 2 to 3 or 5 people maximum, right? You can't start the aspect that you want to do a long process of structured hiring because you see,
Mm.
let's say for example, you see like a big bank or just like a big corporate firm having to do their first interview, assessment, second interview, third interview, fourth, fifth, and the likes. You now have interest in it, and you're like, oh, I think I want to run my recruitment process like that. That is difficult for you because you're not going to get your time. You're just a growing business. Talents will get tired in the process. So when you tend to reduce the phase of your recruitment process is one important, but you growing and you need to now say you want to expand your recruitment process, making it something at different processes is one thing you should not even bring into your business as you're
Mm.
growing. Then also is in the aspect of policies. So there are some policies you should not even bring on board while you have like a 5 month team. Like the policies in the aspects of, let's say, for instance, I'm trying to look at the very big one that works well in the aspect of your compensation and benefits. Now,
Hmm.
you need to bring in compensation and benefit because you see businesses having to provide different opportunities. Now, you also want to put that into your business, and you're just like a 5 man team. What you can afford at that moment can literally be the aspect of providing them leave. It can just be in the aspect of you providing them leave. There's no point of you saying you want to put leave allowance. So it can just be in the aspect of you providing them leave. Okay, they can take absence. That's something simple, right? In the aspect that
Hmm.
okay, you are able to take absence for sickness and all those things. You don't need to start putting HMO if you don't have the ability to cover up for HMO. It's not
Yeah.
necessary. Then
Yeah.
you know that oh okay, you can't do HMO. You don't have that ability for HMO. You could improvise by providing absence of leave. That oh okay, if you're sick, I can give you 1 week off so that you could take care of yourself and all those things. Or you could even provide that oh okay, in your bill, I could sort out 10 or 20% of your bill just to show to the staff that you care. So that's still something you could do. Then also in the aspect of training and development, we know that training is a thing that is very, very important for organizations if they really want to grow. But the aspect of you now having to take your team members to Lagos Business School, saying you want them to start taking big, big courses because you want them to go when you cannot sustain that
Mm.
is not something you should even bring in place at that moment in time. Then have to do in the other aspect of code of conduct. So while you are growing, there are some code of conduct you need to relax on. Like you really need to relax on. Like in the case of oh, if a staff member comes in late and they have even provided or notified you about their lateness, you still want to enforce your policy. It doesn't work because you are growing. All your team member will leave you if you are being harsh at that very harsh at that moment. But
Mm.
the major thing is just for you to ensure discipline, right? It could be okay if you are 1 or 2 hours late, ensure you notify even ahead of time. It could be, oh, if you are going for absence, provide notification 24 hours before and all those. So this basically is to just ensure you have relaxed policy at that moment of your growth, not that you want to have all the old structured policies. So sometimes I just laugh when I see growing businesses, you're having policies of 24, 20. Like, what are you doing with policies of 24? Do you want to choke yourself? Because all the systems stiffen your neck. So if you're having them too much at the same time while you're still growing, you're going to get choked. That's just the thing.
Great, good point. And I mean, I agree with what you said last, which is the fact that sometimes I think that business owners sometimes patience, or let me say impatience, sometimes causes a lot of problem for us. So impatience is in the sense that, for example, somebody comes in late, but you literally don't care about what exactly happened to this person, either traffic jam or maybe something somehow, but you just, I mean, your policy is that they get to your door by 8:30, 30 minutes. I mean, there was a place I was with them for a while, and the policy is that anybody that comes in 30 minutes after 8 gets to pay, I mean, maybe 5 minutes or 2 minutes past 8:30. So the resumption time is 8:30. So if you come in just 2 minutes, you pay, I think we're paying 500 naira or something. At some point, she increased it to 1,000. People were just saying 500 naira, how much is 500 naira? They just come in late and they pay the amount of money. But I mean, at some point, I thought about that thing very well. I was like, oh, I mean, this is a very good way of making people come to work early as much as possible. But I discovered that if you look at it within this set of people that you're punishing, right? Some of them are living far away. The CEO, you have a car, you have a Benz, not just a car, you have a Benz. These guys will drop one car to another Mikra to another Mikra just to get to the office. But you know what happened is that they don't spend 1 minute past 5 in that workspace. Everybody leaves exactly at 4:59. They are packing their load. 5 o'clock, everybody's out. I think those are part of mistakes that business owner makes, right, in their business. You just need to reduce your policies, reduce all these things. It reduces the stress. So I'm sure people have questions. And I mean, when you have the right set of people, I mean, it's hard to get the right set of people again. But when you have these people, how do you sustain these guys? What are things to be able to sustain them properly in the business?
Okay, so basically, in terms of sustaining your team, that's more like you retaining your team. So, number one thing we need to understand is the fact that people like being where they are motivated and when they are recognized, right? So, I would first like to start from that's where we talked about where they were deducting, late coming, and all those things. So, there is
Yeah.
this generality I see in organizations that when you come late or when you come late for meetings, you tend to deduct or they tend to deduct their money or they
Mm-hmm.
tend to pay a particular fine. So the thing is, them coming late or you deducting is actually not the problem. But deducting from their salary is not legal. It is not legal. So I think employers need to know that the
Mm.
allowable deduction from any staff is the aspect of the taxes and basically the aspect of the pension and any other one even I'm sure. But the aspect of you deducting
Pension
for
and
your tax,
taxes.
those are like the two major aspects. That's
Man.
when you have the pension, the tax, then any other things like your NSITF. But basically, all those require legal ones. But if what you have to start deducting is in terms of absenteeism, they committed a crime or something,
Mhm.
committing a crime is still like partly right, but the aspect of it, them being absent or late and all those things, we need to actually understand that because a staff is late or a staff did not show up in the office just one time does not mean you should just automatically deduct their pay. It's you
Mm.
because you are literally the most thing I tell employers if you want to discipline staff, help them understand when they do a particular act, what are the consequences to that act? Meaning,
It's part
how
of
does that
systems.
act actually affect the business? So it is
Mm.
when they know, oh, when I come late, or I come late to meetings, the meetings tend to start late. We tend to cover less. We are unable to achieve our targets in this. When they really understand that, it helps them much more better to come in early than actually saying you want to deduct because they will get so used to the deduction. So we need to be very clear. So anytime you need to discipline a staff, help them understand why that act is not to be done. So now to the other question of how to retain a staff. So if you need to retain your staff, understand that your staff need to be motivated and they need to be
Mm.
recognized. So what I tell employers is that number one, recognition is important. And for you to be able to recognize your staff, you have to have a performance system in place because you cannot recognize a staff that does not perform well. And how do you know a staff that does not perform well? You need to have a criteria that actually helps to determine that this staff has performed or has not performed well. So you need to have your performance
Mm.
systems in place. That what are the criteria that shows that on this role as a salesperson you are successful, or you are even 70% successful on the role. So number one is have a performance criteria. So this will really help you to
KPI.
recognize your staff. Exactly. You can recognize them. So you recognizing your staff does not mean until you give them 50 million, 20 million, 100,000. No. As simple as just sending a memo across to the internal team, recognizing,
Mm.
oh, this is the leader for the month, putting
Mm.
them in a
See the little
design and
things.
all the, just the little thing, putting them in a design, making them, oh, thank you so much. I'm glad. They'll be so happy about it that you recognize them. It can even be
Mm.
as little, like I said yesterday, it can be as little as giving a token of what you know the company can sustain, right? It can
Actually.
be as you subscribing them to a spa. Let them just have a one-time feel of a spa. They're just going for a massage and the likes like that, or them just having a subscription to a gym or going for a mental health session. Those are little
Mm.
things that count in a way you can recognize your staff and give them incentives. Then also is in the aspect of training and career growth. We need to know that staff, no matter how loyal a staff is to you, if the staff cannot grow, they would leave. And now we are coming to the
Mm.
world of Gen Zs. And this is a
Exactly.
period that these people they don't stay one place. They love growth. So we need these are
Mm.
people that love growth. So if your company, if you are just telling them with mouth, they are not seeing the effect, they are so quick to leave.
Wait,
And that's
wait, calm down. I have a practical aspects to this. In fact, that's my thought for today, basically, which is you talked about growth. I'm someone that is like people who know me know that I do a lot of things, right? Today being Sunday, myself, I've worked on websites, and after websites, I'm jumping on the interview. I've read books today, and I'm back on the interview like this. So I'm not someone who personally, right, just like doing one particular thing, just natural for me. I mean, I've fought myself to try to just focus on one thing. I mean, not that focus. I mean, I do all these things, and I have people who handle them at some point. But now I have some certain set of people now that every single time, like go take extra courses on this particular thing, right? So let's say for example, the video editor. Go take extra courses on these things. Go, I want you to, I mean, just change how you put the captions. Just change how you do the subscript or what they call it on videos. Just I just want something different. Like I want to see different things. So I've fought that thought of making this person grow. There was a particular day I was even thinking, is it me that don't have this person to buy a laptop? Do I want to get a laptop? Do I want to do all these kind of things? But when you're not seeing let me say you have those kind of set of people who you are pushing to grow, go and take this course, go and do this, but they're not doing all these things. I'm sure most people are also going to be on that same stand of, okay, they've trained this set of people, they've invested so much, but they are not also personally understanding that they also need to make efforts. Let me put it that way. Make efforts. What do you do as an HR consultant at that point? So I'm seeing comments. Mr. Yodeji the Fortune said, well done. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for joining. So what do we do at that point?
okay. So basically, at that point, number one, I would go in the aspect of you can't force people to do what they cannot do. That's what they don't want to do. You cannot force them to
Hmm.
do it, right? So basically, it's the aspect that you have to tell them. I see it more as a counseling period. Maybe
Yeah.
basically because I tend to discuss with graduates, so I easily see that transition to do that, right? Get to counsel them. Okay, what's your goal? What's your career goal exactly? Are you just
Hmm.
working for the company because you just want to sort your bills? Or
Hmm.
you're working because you see yourself in something, or it's a part of your
Hmm.
career ladder? So that's the way you tend to understand, oh, this person just want to sort his abuse. You know those type of people, no matter how you tend them to improve their skill,
Hmm.
they would not, even though they see their performance reduce, they wouldn't, because that's not in their motive. They just want to sort out their bills. So you
Hmm.
need to be able to understand and you counsel them. This is your current performance and we need you to do better. These are required skills you need to learn. If you say, oh, you want to be a big streamer, you want to be a big video editor into AR, VR, you can't just go into it right from the start. You need to start from somewhere. And that is what you're
Mm,
doing here. But you getting to that point, you need to develop yourself in these particular skills to get to that point. And as you're growing, you can move to different roles. You can go from being a video editor to being a creative director and the likes, going up from there to your major career
mm.
points that you want to.
So
So basically, it's giving them clarity into the
mm,
path of their career to ensure that at your current stage, this is who you are. But to the next stage, this is what you need to learn to move to the next stage, and so on and so
mm,
forth, right? So the major thing is you tend to counsel them, and most times, what most of them need is mentor, because we need to understand people grow in different backgrounds and environments. They didn't grow from a
mm.
background that maybe their parents are the type that to tell them grow in this, become this, and they didn't have that relationship of friends or people around them that would really want them to do more. So they are just so particular about that comfortable life that as long as I'm in a job, I'm getting my 100K home, I'm good with it. So they
Mm.
don't care if they need to continue improving themselves. So we need to understand people come from this background, and your work as an employer, majorly why the HR department is there, is so that you can actually be able to talk them through it. That's why we have the learning and the development departments under the HR, so that they are the ones that literally know that, oh, this is this current person's stage in time, and they understand your career goal. This is where you need to be in 2, 3 years' time. These are the skills you need to know. They are the one that literally help to put them through. So in cases like that, when you have teams or team members that are difficult in terms of growth, talk them through it, mentor them, hold them in your hands, basically, and be able to walk them through the process.
Amazing, amazing. I feel like you just hit the point of the fact that business owners are not just another set of employers, but they're another mentors in disguise. So you're actually mentors in disguise. And I really love that perspective, which is basically, and I mean, this particular person I'm talking about, that time, as at last 2 weeks, just last 2 weeks, while I was thinking about it, was it me getting a laptop because she was using a tab? So I'm like, do I need to get a laptop? Do I need to do all this kind of stuff? I was actually even boiling inside of me. I'm like, the second day I'm going to find somehow, some way, is this girl not willing to develop better and stuff like that? But when the day she resumed back, I'm like, you know what? These are the things that I really want you to change. These are the things I really want you to do. Right now, the videos are Kripsky. Or they are, I don't know the English. They are cripsy. So I mean, it confirms what you said about counseling. Sometimes we just need to do that talking and do it with love. Just share them, make them understand that you actually believe in them and you trust their work and you're expecting growth from them and you are also helping them to see growth in themselves. I used to say something that the joy that I get is in the fact that people see their potentials. They see potentials in themselves just being around me. That's the joy. That's my own joy. So I have comments coming in from Anna Ogid. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your name very well. I think I got that Anna very well. This is a very important topic in our industry. Thank you for touching it. Thank you very much for joining. I mean, it's an important aspect. I mean, there's so many questions that I really want to ask. We have a very short time. I'm definitely trying to put all those questions together, right? So now we have people who are, you've talked about helping them to learn, helping them to also see growth in themselves. Now, you also talked about the people who are toxic. They are not willing to learn. So you have someone who is not willing to learn. What do you do as an HR? Is it fire? Because I mean, we joke with these words, fire, fire, hire, fire. But when do we fire? When do we hire?
Okay, so when you have a talent who is not willing to learn, after you going through the process of counseling, talking to them, and there is still no changes, the truth is you have to let them go. They're not the best for you. That's just it.
Mm,
So there is a little to what you can do. There is this thing, this adage where they will say girlfriends are mothers, that you are a girlfriend, you're not to train the boy or all those things. It's his mom's responsibility to train him and all those things. So you are an employer, right? And you've done your best basically in having to guide the talents through, help them understand, counsel them, but they are not willing to change. You have to just let them go. You can't keep them
Mm.
because there is no usefulness. They are not providing the result you want. So you just need to let them go. That's just the basic thing. And in the aspect of fire and ire, so I am not the, should I say, in my course of experience so far, I have been very slow to fire and I've also been very fast to fire.
Because I wanted to say that, I mean, it's usually the way opposite. You hire slowly and you fire fast. So
I have been very fast to fire, and I've also still been very slow in firing. And this is because that is a very difficult situation, basically, when
honestly,
it comes to firing. It's very
honestly,
difficult, and it has a whole lot of process you need to do to ensure that you are not taking up the wrong step. So,
exactly.
what?
Because I mean, I agree with that part because sometimes, like I said initially, that sometimes we business owners we just need to be patient, right? Because sometimes in your head, for me, right, I'm a kind of person that if you're not growing beside me, I'm not seeing changes. I don't think I need to have you in my circle. My next thought for that person was to fire, right? But when I thought about it again, I'm like, guy, don't make the wrong decisions because of just the little mistakes that you probably would just, I mean, talking through it can actually solve it. I mean, please go ahead with what you're saying.
Okay, so basically, firing is like a very difficult situation. So before you depend that you want to fire a staff, why do you really want to fire the staff? What's the reason? So when it comes to do with performance, I tell employers that is why there is PIP. That's Performance
Mm,
Improvement Plan. And they provided PIP not for fun. They provided it just like an extra time. You know, when you are in school and you don't pass a particular course, the school don't say because you failed a particular course, then they will send you out of school immediately. No, they actually give you an opportunity to do a receipt that you carry over the course. That
mm,
exactly what PIP is. So we see that, oh, after a period of time, your performance is not good. So let's say, for instance, now you just resumed, you joined the organization. You joining the organization is essential. You even give that staff a probationary tax. And probationary tax is not something general. The probationary tax are major tax that you know this person needs to complete to actually ensure this person is good for you, because you have 3 months to decide if this staff is good for you or not. 3 to 6 months. So these are required things that you know that this staff will definitely be encountered with while on the job. These are what you should put on your probationary tax for the staff to do. And why doing a probationary tax for them? You don't just leave them to themselves, you guide them through it because they are new into
mm.
your company, right? You guide them through that probationary tax, let them understand. But if after the probationary tax, you are providing them their performance reports every month, there's still no changes after their probationary part, their performance is still very low, now you're thinking you need to fire. That's where performance
Mm.
improvement comes in. You tend to discuss with them what exactly is your challenge, why are you not able to perform well. That's the number one thing I do mostly. Why, before I, let me say, for instance, for a particular staff, it was a sales role basically, and you know sales is directly tied to revenue. If you are not bringing in money, you are not working. That's just the thing.
Exactly,
The sales role.
exactly.
So, and I was like, okay, your first month, you had a target to meet, and that first month target was not like, oh, okay, you have to meet that target. I just wanted you to meet 50% of the target for me to be sure that you are qualified to move to the next month, right? And you could not achieve 50% of the target. You could not even achieve anything. And I'm asking, okay, what's your challenge basically? Why are you unable to achieve it? He was able to provide audio challenge, talk. Salespeople know how to sweet talk, right? He was able to
Mhm.
really provide audio challenge. Like, okay, we are going to fix this. I gave a second month by fixing all those things. Let's see your reports by second month. It was still the same thing. And that was the moment I knew this person cannot stay. Because if
Mm.
by the first month you could not really achieve something, I accept. You told me your challenges. I gave you the second month. Not even something. Now we need to understand that when I say not even something means even if you bring one kobo, gives me the assurance that there is visibility in you. You have potentials, right?
Exactly.
So you achieving zero, because we tend to see some people like, oh, he's a salesperson, he just came into the company, he can't really get and start selling your services. No, you need to understand the difference between achieving a zero thing and achieving a couple thing. So this is someone
Hmm.
that is achieving zero, meaning there is no input. We've always been putting up, what do you want to count for return on investment in terms of the marketing or everything you're putting out there for them to do, and still nothing is coming in, right? So you need to know that, oh, okay, you provided your PIP, give them training, train your people. This is one thing that is important. Be sure that they are clear on the job that is required of them. Train them to be sure that, oh, okay, they are good. You've done your best in training them. And after PIP, maybe 1 month, you actually have your character. Because mistakes employers make is that when they do PIP, they don't put the feedback of what they are expected to see after the PIP. That's the mistake the employers tend to make. So if you're giving someone a PIP, what are the changes you really want to see after the PIP? This is what shows you that your PIP is successful. So if you
Hmm.
don't have that criteria in place, you need to go and revisit your PIP, because there's no way you're going to measure. So having your PIP, it entails you mentoring them, counseling them, providing them resources, training them basically, and providing them a task to do. And you are able to notify or even observe your criteria within the months or duration you've set in your PIP. And if there's still no improvements, you have to fire. You don't have a choice. That's just
Hmm.
it. So I think that's when you know that, okay, yes, you need to fire. But in cases of gross misconduct, depending, you need to just fire out straight. That's just the thing. Out straight. When it
Hmm.
comes to gross misconduct, like stealing, is
Yeah.
you need to fire immediately. But depending on the situations, but no matter, as long as gross misconduct, I don't identify second chance for gross misconduct.
I
Fire
have
immediately.
I don't know if you know the Dr. Charles Davis, the co-founder of Fastest Cakes, and I usually follow him on Instagram and usually say something that do not spare a thief. A thief, lock them in jail. And that man has taken some of these guys to jail because, and I really agree with that because the moment you release them and say, oh, okay, sorry, okay, they are fine, somebody else will hire. So we have this similar case in our industry. Somebody posted on the group that, you know what, I think he posted the staff pictures. Some of the professionals listening will actually understand this. He posted his staff pictures online, and somebody just highlighted that this guy here has stolen. The guy was working with her before, and he has stolen from her company. I mean, clients before, or something like that. He just that alone. So because of the fact that somebody did not send that guy to jail, is outside today. And funny enough, is I actually did the same thing in that new company again. They stole. He stole in that new company again. So, I mean, theft it should not be taken lightly. I feel like everybody should have that policy. Just lock them. If you lock them up, it will save us a lot of stress, save other people from that stress. So we've talked about hiring, we've talked about how to sustain these people. We've also talked about how to retain the existing people that you have, and it's critical in terms of documentation. I feel like the key point of hiring is actually documenting your entire procedures and making sure that everything is actually clear to people, clear explanation, let them understand your vision. Also, in the book that I read from what's her name? Boss, the co-founder of So Fresh, Mrs. Abimbola, right? Start small, scale big. She placed it that business is like is like an entire building where you have the architectural design, that's the vision. You also have the building plan, which is the strategy. Then you also have all the materials, which is the people, the team, all the things. So you cannot build a business alone. You need people, you need structure, you need systems. And in putting all those systems in place, there are some strategies and things that you need to avoid, things that you need to help you sustain, retain those set of people. And that's what exactly we've talked about over time. Now, there's a part that you talked about, which is training. A lot of companies believe, or CEOs believe, that if I train this guy now, this guy go run. No. For example, you have somebody now. Okay, You have someone you've trained about the industry. He knows where to buy the next product. He knows where to get the equipment. He knows virtually almost everything, just like you do. And I mean, some people say this. For me, I'm the opposite though. But like some people say that they don't they don't want to invest in that training because they will carry that knowledge and run. What's your take on that?
Okay, so basically, to me, training is like your commitment. That's what I said. Because if you want to go by, if you train them, they are going to live with the knowledge and run. How do you want them to put in that knowledge in your business? That's just the
Mm.
thing. So, because you need to train them to put the knowledge into your business. They say that when you want to catch a monkey, you do like a monkey. So
Mm-hmm.
you need them to literally put that knowledge in your business. So you don't have a choice than to train them. But when it comes to training like that, when you know you are growing and it comes to the aspect of training, you need to be very careful. So I don't know if anyone who works with bank know this, basically that most of the banks, when you come in maybe through their graduate training or something, you are usually in a bond for like 2 years or so. You cannot leave
Mm.
the organization, you can't leave their bank for 2 years, you coming in your graduate training. So, and if you had to leave, I think you're going to pay 2 million naira or so if you want to
Wow.
leave before the completion of 2 years. So that's why you will see most of them, once they are done with 2 years, they are out of the bank immediately. And that's because maybe possibly they are tired, they don't even want to work there anymore, but they couldn't leave earlier because they don't have the 2 million
Mm.
to pay because of the bond. And they did it because the bank did it because bank invest a lot in training. They invest a lot
Mm.
in training of their team members. So they know that this training is going to be useful on their business. So they are giving that period of 2 years for you to actually put in that training knowledge
Let me.
into.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay,
Okay.
so they need that, they have that 2 years to really put in the knowledge into their businesses, right? And that's the reason why they have to put the 2 years bond also. But as a growing business, you really cannot come and tie someone down for 2 years, right? And that's why it's important you literally help them to buy into your vision. Have people that can buy into your vision.
Although I'm a little bit of the opposite, which is basically training, investing in training with the team. I'll give you an example. I feel like that would most people will relate with me, especially when the pest control companies will relate better. For us, right? Our technicians don't go out except they undergo training. And our training is about 160 hours. So it splits into about 3 months. Um, except if we have like a lot of work, then we train them for like 1 month properly. So I have my time, I train them, then I put them together with the team, with the other existing guys, and they go through that training. Imagine someone that you hired today, and you know how this works. You have to get them uniform, you have to get them safety PPEs, you have to get them boots and all those kind of stuff. Proper equipment, because you cannot, I don't allow them go if you are not branded. Funny enough, they have to sew the exact clothes, their own clothes. The tailor has to sew, brand the guy totally. And after 1 month, I have a recent case like this. After 1 month, this guy just wrote us a message and was like, his parents said he cannot work now. So he has to resign. So, I mean, for me as a business person, that's a total loss because apparently the time of training this particular person, the time of investing in equipment with this person, the safety PPEs, his equipment, and all those kind of things, it's gone. The shoe size, we don't even know if the next person is actually going to be the same size, if we tell you to return it, right? So most businesses fall into that same gap. And like, for this reason, I'm not going to put that kind of effort in it. So I have someone in the industry, like a colleague, and she shared that somebody gave her a strategy, and the strategy is basically that um when you hire these people, right? So if their salary is supposed, I want to actually know if this thing is maybe legal based on HR policy and all. If the person's salary is like 100K, you pay them 70,000, right? And hold 30K and save it for them, right? For the entire 1 year. So after 1 year is when they get to collect the 30K times 12. That's 360,000, right? Am I correct? Yeah, 360,000. You know, they are still collecting their salary, 70K. But that's money. It's just a way of like a bond, kind of, with the way you explained with the bank thing. I don't know. She said the person that used it before worked well for him. I mean, what do you think of that as an HR professional?
Okay, so basically, number one is not legal because why exactly? Except you want to call it in a particular way. If the staff give consent to it and you're
Hmm.
calling it like a savings, it's a
Okay.
different thing. It's a different thing. That is if the staff actually give consent to. So there must be documentations that proves that this staff actually consented to the deduction, right? So that's number one. Because if there is no consentment, that just basically when you are employed automatically I have to start deducting the 30K, that's illegal. It is illegal, right? So you need to be sure the staff give consent to that. So possibly it's more like a savings thing, and they need to know that, oh, this is a savings and by this also time they get it, that can literally work out in that case. So that is the way that can work out. But if it's just automatic employment and you start deducting, it is illegal. It's not to be done. But the staff give consent to it, they give it a term like savings for the staff. That is when it can now be legal, because it's not just your own authorized thing, it's the thing that both parties agree to, basically. And in that case, so if you are saying you want to keep them till 1 year, that's you saving for them till 1 year. That means you are using that as an opportunity of you having to train them and keep them till 1 year. That's just what
Hmm.
you're trying to say. So instead, and that's it
It's,
works. It works really.
staff sometimes they would help you create different strategies in your head.
I
That
think
woman has struggled with retaining people, so that's why you have to look for different strategies to be able to sustain them.
that's something that really really works, right?
Mhm.
And I think in that
You are
case also,
surprised.
I'm just surprised, right? Because I think that the founder literally does not want to go through the aspect of stress, because there are sometimes that
Mhm.
after paying a staff immediately they send in their resignation letter. So the founder is not ready to really go into the aspect of saying they are going to the courts, they are doing a
Mhm.
stress and blah blah blah, calling guarantor and all those. So I think that's the reason why she's having to keep an extra, that if I thought you even want to go, your money is somewhere, you would want to give proper notice, right? So
Exactly.
I think that's something that works. But
So,
for anyone who will be deploying such acts, ensure it is consented, that both parties are actually accepting to it. And it is not just that when you automatically, don't say you put it in the offer letter, please. Let there be a separate document that literally
mm,
talks about that. They understand every terms of it and they give their consentment by signing there. In that way,
great.
it works. It is legal.
So great. Speaking about documents, I mean, there are some certain documents that every SMEs or startups needs to have in hiring process. So I'm sure that there are a whole lot of them. But what are the critical documents that business owners needs to have?
Okay, so critical document a business owner needs to have, number one is you need to have your hiring guide. That's like the number one I tell every employer. You need to have your hiring guide. So how you need to understand,
Hmm.
how does your hiring want to work? Do you want to first send out, prepare the gap, your gap analysis, understanding what talents you need, not you just hiring based on urgency. You actually have what you use to prepare your gap analysis to know, oh, I think I need to hire this role, right? So you have that. You move through to the aspect of how does your process of hiring want to work. Do you want to start by sending out application? How long should your application stay? After application, what do you do? Do you want to screen? After your screening, do you want to give assessments or you want to do interview? After your screening, you need to literally have that process in place, that okay, after screening, interview, after interview, assessment, another interview, hire, that's sending offer letter, probation, then contract of employment and the likes, right? So you just need to have that guide, right? That is a very important document. Then also in the aspect of onboarding. Onboarding is an important document. You need to have your onboarding guide. What do you do week one? What do you do month one? What do you do month two, month three, month 4, 5, 6, depending on the number of probations months you want to have. That is one important document you need to have. Then SOP, standard
Hmm.
operating procedure, is a very important document a company needs to have. No matter the little as a customer service rule, an SOP is needed for it. You need to have SOP for it. So, but most employers think SOP is mostly in manufacturing companies or industrial work companies. No, SOP is literally to guide your operations. As long there is an operation going, SOP is needed. So, for every role, a customer service, a front desk, whatever role it is, make sure you have an SOP that guides them, right? Then also have your basic policies, your basic policy in terms of code of conduct, your basic policy in terms of attendance is important, your basic policies in terms of benefits, when can they take
Hmm.
leave, what how many days of leave are they qualified to take, when can they take absence, how should they take their holidays and the likes, right? So that policy is someone required that they need to literally have. Then also in the aspect of training and development too, their training and development policies too. You need to know, oh, okay, we are training. So that aspect of the 30,000 naira deduction and all those things works under the training and development policy part, because they should be able to have clear understanding in that. Then also you should have your policy that actually guides your activities and KPI. Have that. Every staff should have their KPI. So if you are just starting, you have a supermarket, you have eatery, restaurants, you're also in the fumigation. As long as you're in a service based or a product based organization, make sure you have your SOP. Number one, have your basic policy that covers attendance, dress code, absence, leave. Those are like the basic things that you need. Have the aspects of your training and development. How do you want to train them? How do you want to ensure they are growing? That's their career growth basically. Is there a career trajectory in your organization or not? Help them to know that. Then the aspect of the other one I mentioned, your hiring and onboarding. That is so important too. And KPI. These are like the five major ones you need to have your KPI to, because that's how you would need to know if you are growing or you are not growing. So those are like the very important documents an organization or a growing company must literally have.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much. I mean, you've actually hit the nail on the head itself. So comments are rolling in on YouTube now. Someone that asked Green says, "What if you ask them to pay for their training? Because it's their own assets." That's wait. What do you think about that? Honestly, if that's legal, me, I would go by it too. Honestly,
Okay, so
I just
um
finished 3 days. I slept for like 2 days.
okay, so you need
Ah.
to know that
Mhm.
your talent is your asset. That's what you need to know.
Yeah, it's their own
Your
assets,
talent
but it's my own
is
assets
your
too.
asset. So if the training is for the
Correct.
talent assets, your talent is
Hmm.
also your own asset. So you need to choose
Amazing.
which one you want to do,
Hmm.
right? Them having to pay for their own course would be dicey because not everybody are serious. There are some people that you need to hold them in their hand for them to be serious.
Yeah,
So
some of them are just naturally lazy.
exactly. So
Yeah,
and they
just
know
naturally
that if the
lazy.
company is paying, they dare not say they will not attend the training. They dare not say they would not focus. But if it's them
Yeah.
paying, if anything comes in place, they can say, well, it's my money. It will go like that. Right? So
Hmm.
that aspect of them having to pay for course is kind of dicey. I would not advise that, basically. So even if you want them to pay, at least provide a support to it. So and for growing businesses, you don't need to always say you want to go for paid training, big paid training most times because you are growing. You don't need to start doing 500,000 training when your revenue is still tiny. You don't need to do that. Check out for free courses they can literally do. There are available free courses you can do. Speak to consultants or speak to firms that offer training. Have a negotiation on, oh, okay, I would want you to come and train my team every month on this also thing, or every quarter on this also thing. You have a negotiation on the amount and all those things. So growing as a company does not necessarily mean because you want to develop them, you have to now start registering them on LBS, Lagos Business School, going to sales Ruby and the likes. You don't need it. If your
Mhm.
revenue is still tight, you don't need that type of big training. You could just do something within the budget. Then as you grow, you can expand your training aspects. So please,
Amazing.
training is not just your talent assets. Your talent is your assets. So you need to know
Mm.
that.
All right. So also there are also comments that says that yeah, that's to a point. That kind of deduction has to be consensual. It means that both parties needs to consent to it basically, and that's correct. That's quite critical and is very much important. So we are heading towards the end of the show. I mean, it's hiring itself. It's like a whole lot of topic. There are a lot of concerns, a whole lot of questions, a whole lot of parts that we need to delve into. But I mean, I'm taking it one after the other, right? So what's your advice for a business who is actually struggling with retaining staff, with staff retention?
Okay, so for staff retention as a small business is understand that the little things count.
Mm,
What always affects employers is they always think when it's not big, it's not valid. They think it's not always valid, it's not always noticed. So humans generally love to be appreciated. That's one thing you know. Even just to your fellow friend, when they do something and you start praising them or hailing them, you see that their mood changes. Their
mm,
mood changes, right? So humans generally love to be appreciated. So you need to be able to ensure that you recognize them. You could go as well as just doing internal memo, have a design for them that celebrate them on your social media pages. It goes a long way for them. You could do the aspect of possibly giving an incentive. It can be a
mm.
20,000 naira. It can just be a little addition, something that can literally just improve them. Then also ensure that there is career growth in your organization. So I think I was speaking with a founder lately, is in this hospitality industry, and he talked about they tend not to retain their staff more than 6 months and they provide incentive. That's the funny thing. Their staff don't
Wait.
stay
Sorry. Their staff don't stay more than 6 months. Is
six
that what you
months.
said?
Yes, their staff don't stay more than 6 months and they still
How?
provide incentive for them. That's the hospitality.
Okay. Wait. Sorry. So wait. So it's not. I mean, I think this agrees with my own philosophy in retaining staff. That the amount you pay them is not what sustain them, right? Because
Yeah,
if this organization is giving incentive, maybe in millions or in thousands or in hundreds, and in 6 months they are still living. So what's the game? I would like to know.
that's so that's basically for us to know that money is not the only thing that keep people.
Mm,
We know everybody are working so that they can be able to sort out bills, at least fend for themselves. But you need to know that there are people that are also concerned about their career growth.
yeah.
So if they cannot see themselves growing in your organization, they would leave.
Hmm.
Even if you are paying them or doing million, it will get to a point that I'm sorry, I'm tired of this money. Let me just go to another place. They would leave, right? So ensure that you have a career growth. If someone is coming in as a receptionist or a front desk, in next 1 2 years, where would that person be? What
Yeah.
role will that person be doing? We have some companies that today their front desk for 4 5 years is still the same day. It's totally wrong. You can't just try people like that, right? So you need to be sure that there is a career growth for them. They want to say, how can I grow? And that's one thing
Hmm.
bank is very good at. They are very good at the aspect of career growth. They ensure that you move from one state. That's why you always see branch manager, regional manager, and the likes. They always ensure that there is career ladder for you to grow. And also is the aspect of incentive. Provide them incentive, right? So just like I said, that you're providing incentive, but they don't stay more than 6 months. The lacking thing is that first it can be the aspect of there's no clarity in their role and leadership aspects. You need to be sure on your leadership. Is your leadership toxic? Because you are the MD does not mean you should be toxic. You are
Hmm.
the MD does not mean you should come and run a military environment at work, right? So, and there are leaders that do this. So, you should not be creating a toxic environment. Create a culture that they can literally live by in the environment, that they can stay, they can work well there. That's the most important thing. Create a culture that enhances them to grow. Then also, you're actually able to make sure their rules are cleared. There is no chaos. They are not always struggling having to understand something, right? They are not struggling to understand something. Their rules are clear for them to ensure execution of what their task is to do and ensure there's career growth in the organization. Let them see the career ladder, provide them incentives, and recognize them. So those are the basic things I know that can literally keep your staff. And the most important thing is the incentive, the career growth, and your culture. Those three are
Hmm.
like the most
The
very, very
incentive, the
important,
career goals, and the
and your
culture.
culture.
That's critical. That's like summarizing what is making some businesses to fall in just three words. That's great. And that I feel like business owners needs to maybe after this show, after watching this show, sit down, jot things, get a jotter. I used to say something whenever I start pest experience is get a jotter. If as you see, I'm with my pen, I'm always jotting. I'm learning. I'm learning. Even me that is even interviewing, I'm learning. So it's critical. We need to go back into the books. And now, is it me that is actually the bad person here? Maybe not bad person, right? But like, is it sometimes it could actually be our fault. It could just be that we're not just patient enough to properly state our expectations. We are not just so let me say patient to communicate better. Most times people don't really even understand what you are saying, right? Except if you communicate it properly, right? So that work system and also the growth ladder you mentioned is critical. I've seen that very well in my own organization. I've seen that well. And that growth, people really want to see themselves in the next 6 months, 3 months. Oh, I'm moving away from being customer service to another role. In the next 1 year, I'm seeing that, okay, I can take up the next step. And the point is this, they look at, there was a video, I think it's a video or probably in a book that I read or probably in an interview. And somebody said that the boss, the leader who was there before spent 20 years on that same seat, right? The other ones that are coming in are looking at, when will I become the next executive director if I'm still in this organization? If this person is using 20 years in this particular same position, when will I that just joined in 1 year ago would move to the next stage? So eventually they just pivot, they go into another state, they go into another organization to look for work. And I feel like that's critical. It starts with drawing that company plan, company trajectory, your vision, stating it properly. Oh my God, there are comments that are coming in already. Somebody says down at Green says, but who pays money pay attention? No, on that one, I feel yes, they pay money, pay attention. It depends on your system and your own business organization structure, actually. So another one says another one, anyone who is lazy should not be part of the cycle. I'm gonna come in on this. You said anyone who is lazy should not be part of the cycle. Honestly, I've seen lazy guys that are willing, right? But naturally, they are just lazy. But some of them just need extra push. There are some of the people that you have in your system that all they need, if you are patient enough, if you're patient to communicate with them, explain your roles and expectations to them properly, you will discover that all they need is just that guy, do this. And this is the risk in not doing this, right? So being patient enough to communicate that is also critical. Then also, that asking says, I attended the training where those who their company paid for them were not serious at all, as us that paid for ourselves. Well, I think that's subjective. I don't know if you have something to say on that. He said he attended training that those who are in the company they're not serious. Sometimes it happens. Some people are just so unserious. Then outer Amisu, that's my outer. I think this is Amisu. That should be my environmental consultant. Thank you very much for joining. It's a very educative. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for joining. Also, Anna Ogede, sorry if I didn't pronounce it well, says, how about those on drugs like colos? It's a thing with Gen Z and low income earners. Most times you won't know till you have hired or are doing drug tests before they enter. which is tough. Our HR consultant, I don't know if you have something to say on that. Sometimes some of these people are actually drug lords. So what's your take on that? Are you there?
Okay, so basically, for those that drug lords, you won't say it's when you come in, you are able to really, what did they say, discover that really. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
you need to have a structured process in your hiring. Most of the time, when you have some of the candidates you want to select, you mandate it for them to literally go for a test. And it's not that they should go and bring test results. You actually have a subscription or a contract with an hospital or a health facility that, okay, every of our staff will definitely come here and you need to run some various tests on them, right? So, but this candidate needs to give their consent during your hiring process that I give you consent to run some tests on me, because you can't just start running tests on people without giving their consent to it. So they are able to really go to the hospital, give their consent. So this is part of your hiring process of identifying those that are drug lords. And that is what I talked about in the aspect of your code of conduct policy. Your code of conduct policy, it needs to be stated there. Are you the type that accepts people that take colos? So you need to know that there are some organizations today abroad, when it comes to cigarettes, smoking cigarettes, taking alcohol, there's actually a space in the organization they give for that. So whenever
Mm-hmm.
you want to take cigarettes, you go to that close to take your cigarette while on duty, right? But yeah, there's no way you want to do it. So I always, if you know that as a company you do not patronize that, make it clear in your policies that, oh, this is not a place for drugs. If it happens, it's straight termination, right? So before they come into your company, ensure you run proper tests during your hiring phase before they come in, before you hire them, because most employers tend to make mistake of, after hiring them, that is when they start doing their test, and that's why you always have outbreak. But it should actually be in your hiring phase. Do your test during your hiring phase for like few, maybe two or three people that you know that they are very good. They might actually be your suitable candidate to select. Then at least you are very safe that, oh, I know this person's health status and the likes before they literally come on board.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful, wonderful episode of the Pest Experience Show tonight. Speaking about hiring, there are businesses out there who are actually in need of technicians, who are also in need of probably not just even technicians, but also other employees. You're looking for digital marketer, you're looking for candidates for your organization, the perfect fit. Now there's a solution, right? So my provider, most people have been hearing about provider, but you don't even know what exactly is provider doing. Now let me tell you, provider is basically that platform where you organize, you have as an organization, you need staff, you need technicians, you need people. Just go register as an employee, I mean employer there on the platform, which is www.myprovider.com. My provider, PROVYDR. I'm going to put it in the chat, in the description. The link will be in the description. Register as an employer, and you can list. So if you're looking for cleaners, you're looking for people to work with, just go there, post the jobs. It's provider responsibility to find you those candidates. And on that same platform, you would have candidates that are ready and verified candidates, not just anyhow candidates that are ready looking for jobs, opportunity like that. So on that platform, you have your own personal company dashboard, your company URL, your private link. So if you have job listing, just share that link everywhere. People will go there, apply through the platform, and on your own dashboard, you can shortlist your candidates. Also have your interviews, the meeting right on provider portal, right? So the portal is live now. We launched it out today, www.myprovider.com. So if you have a business today, just go register as an employee, I mean employer on that platform. And if you are also a candidate, you're looking for job opportunities and you're looking for the best company to work with, we can also register candidates for free. Employers get to pay their different subscription model. You can check the pricing tag on myprovider.com, provider.com. So go to myprovider.com, and also you can also get linked consultants like Temitope on provider platform. So if you also have inquiries, book a consultation with our consultant on my provider, and you get linked to her. So there are various consultants. I'm also a consultant on my provider, right? A digital marketing consultant. You have HR consultants, different consultants and different parts of the business, right? So remember, we also have the Pest Insight Apprenticeship Program coming up, organized by the Pest Insight Initiative, which is basically to create more and the next generation of pest control professionals, environmental health practitioners in the industry. The goal is to expand the reach. We're having this shortage of technicians and workforce. So the Pest Insight Apprenticeship Program is basically to create this next generation of workforce and entrepreneurs. So if you are interested to be an apprentice, just go to www.pestinsights.org and register to be. The training is happening June to August 2026, the 3 months training for technicians. You're interested, you're experienced, you're not experienced, you just want to unlearn, relearn, and also develop yourself better. Go to www.pestinsight.org to register. And for students, it is 50% discount off the entire thing. And also, if you're an employer, you have a company, you want to hire technicians that are trained from the Pest Insights Initiative and the apprenticeship program, you can sponsor some of those students. If you need 5 technicians, you can sponsor 5 students to be part of the apprenticeship program. So we have a scholarship program. If you're interested in sponsoring the Pest Insight apprenticeship program, please, I really do appreciate that. We have facilitators from different parts of the world who are going to be teaching 3 months physical training, virtual training sessions, also practical on-site training sessions that will be happening. So more information will be rolling out as we go along on the PestXperience Show. So thank you all for joining. Thank you very much, my guest. Thank you very much for joining the PestXperience Show tonight. It's been a wonderful time learning, unlearning, and also relearning. So the PestXperience Show cut across different states, across different cities, across different country. My name is Babalola, and this is the PestXperience Show every Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m. West African time. Today is longer than that because HR hiring aspect is not just the one thing. I don't think next time I'm going to be having a consultant on HR and all. I don't think I'll go 1 hour again, maybe 2 hours, right? So thank you all for joining. Thank you all for listening. This is the PestXperience Show. I'll see you same time, same station, the Pest Insight Initiative. Please, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. Share this video with a business owner. Somebody's going to learn. Somebody's going to learn. Share these videos. Share our videos. Please watch them, right? Watch previous videos. Share the videos. Share the lights. And be part of the PestXperience community. The link is going to be in the comments. In the description below. I'll see you on the next episode next week. Same time, same station on the Pest Insights Initiative platform. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next